Today, Sarah and I are excited to make some ribollita, which is a Tuscan soup. It is a peasant food where the farmers used everything that they would find in the garden, and they would put it into this wonderful soup, also using day-old bread, slices of bread that are like 2 or 3 days old, and of course some beans, some cannellini beans. But let's get started. You see how interesting cavolo nero is? It's kind of bumpy and curly like this, but it is one of the loved grains in Tuscany, and you can do all kinds of things with it. In fact, you can even put it on top of crostini, and it is absolutely delicious, accompanied with some sheep cheese, some pecorino. But now we're just gonna chop all the veggies up. We will also cut up these bietole, these Swiss chards. See, there are 2 different kinds. This is just the green one, and then this one has the red stem. And we'll do the same thing with these as we did with the cavolo nero. Here are 2 little leeks. Normally you can just use a large one. As we have said before, leeks can trap some soil inside of them, so it's always good to cut them and then wash them really, really well. So we're gonna cut these up into chunks about this big. And so this dish is from the cucina povera. It's kind of like a peasant meal. And I tell you what, peasant meals sometimes become the very best. They're simple, but they're actually so delicious and perfect comfort food. So here we're gonna get 2 cloves of garlic. Crush it so that it's a little bit easier to peel. We're just going to chop it nice and fine. Garlic always makes things taste so much better. I almost forgot to tell you, we're also going to add some thyme and a little bit of cayenne pepper, since we love a bit of heat to it. Wow, look at this one, how interesting. It grew together like this. Everything is prepped, and we are ready to go get this ribollita started. Today we have chosen to use the pizza cucina, where, as you know by now, the fire is below in the burning chamber, and then the cooking chamber is right on top, actually the cooking surface. Our pan has been preheating. We're gonna put some olive oil in the bottom, and then put the odori to make a soffritto. And this is just gonna gently sizzle in here for about 10 minutes. The onions are becoming translucent. We're gonna add the garlic, and we also chopped a little bit of the parsley that we've almost forgot. We're gonna let this sizzle just a bit longer. It's beginning to start sticking a little bit on the bottom, and that's what we want. I mean, you don't want it to burn, but start to caramelize just a bit. It is time for us to add the other veggies. We'll stir everything up, and it will begin to start to make its own water. And we're gonna let it cook in here for just a bit until the water is evaporated and cooked in. We're gonna put the thyme in. And as you can see, the water that came from the veggies has already been reabsorbed. And at this point, we're gonna put the cavolo nero in, the bietole, and the cavolo verza. I know it looks like the pot is gonna be so full, but since these veggies are mainly made of water, they're gonna really go down. We're gonna give it a quick stir, then add the broth to it, some of the parsley, and the broth. Now we're just going to top it off with a little bit of water, and we will place the piece of rind from the Parmigiano Reggiano right in it. A little salt. Maybe a tad more, and then we can always taste it later. And we will cover it with the top. Now that everything has nicely come to a boil, we're going to add the tomato paste as well, and the tomatoes that we crushed with our hands. We'll put that in as well. Give it a quick stir. And I don't know if you've noticed the Parmigiano Reggiano rind, it was floating somewhere just a little bit ago. In Italy, sometimes they give that piece of rind even to babies to help them with teething. Let's cover it back up. Our ribollita has been simmering for about 45 minutes. To this now, we're gonna add some of the creamed beans. We creamed them with a submersion blender. We'll add this. But once you add the beans, you have to be careful to stir because beans tend to stick to the bottom. So this will cook for another 15 minutes and then we will be ready to layer it. And here is our ribollita that is ready to be assembled in this beautiful terracotta pot. And what we're gonna do first, we're gonna start layering the ribollita with some bread that we have sliced. Here are the slices of bread that we'll place right in there in the bottom, and then we will cover those up once again with ribollita, and we will keep doing this until we get to the top. Once again, we'll layer it with bread, and the bread will soak up all these juices in there. And again, the ribollita, and we'll do that all the way to the top. We're gonna cover it up with the lid and leave it on here for about 10 minutes and then allow it to soak and sit all night long on the countertop in the kitchen. And here we are the next day. As you can see, all the broth has been absorbed by the bread. Now, since it's called ribollita, we have to reheat it. You could totally eat it cold, but we also in the winter time reheat it, and the ribollita means boiled again. And so since we are making some bread in the oven and the oven is hot, we're gonna place it right in there. Today we were baking bread in the Fontana gusto, and the fire has gone out, but it's warm enough to put the ribollita inside. The ribollita goes in, we will close the door and allow it to cook once again, and that's why it's called ribollita. I think it is time, and it overboiled just a little bit, but let's look inside. Oh wow, if you could only smell the aroma coming out of here. Let's get it out and serve it. And here we are finally ready to serve it. Oh, look at this. I'm gonna get some out. And you see how the layers of bread have nicely soaked up all the broth. Place it in here and add a bit more. And now we're going to grate some Parmigiano Reggiano over and a nice drizzle of olive oil. And guys, we are ready to eat a delicious Tuscan peasant food that will satisfy any palate. I'm gonna be the first one that gets to taste it, and I will tell you buon appetito.